Hello traders, welcome back to my channel and to a new video where we're going to talk about volume profile types, the most popular and the most used, and what each one of this entails and how you're going to apply them. In this case, I'm going to make this video off of the TradingView platform, but of course, any trading platform that you use that has the capabilities, pretty much all of them offer this same type of profiles as well. So we're going to talk about four main types, which I have outlined right here. And before we dive right in, as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any content. Also, this video, we're just going to talk about what each profile is and what it's composed of, but I'm not going to go into detail as far as, what the components of a volume profile are, etc. I have many volume profile guides on my channel. You can check the video description, and I have a link to my most popular videos, including those, so you can go there for more details. This is just going to be a general guide of the four main types of profile there is. So let's start off. I'm going to quickly just summarize each one, and then we're going to go into each one more in detail and show you examples and how you would apply and use them in the charts. So the first one, the visible range, this is going to be a dynamic profile. Usually you're going to want to put it on the right side of the chart. And basically this profile is going to be changing based on what you have on your screen. So if you have this candles on your screen, then obviously your range profile is going to start off the top here from the very top point down to the very bottom point right around here. And then from there, you're going to have your high volume nodes on the areas with the most volumes, etc. Okay, that's your visible range. I don't use this profile that much just because I like to have a specific range that I work with based on price swings, etc., and significant swing highs and lows. But the visible range is just a quick way to look at a profile, and it's going to be changing based on what symbol you're watching. Then we have the periodic, which, as the name suggests, it's going to generate a profile after X amount of time. So you can have a daily profile, which is almost the same thing as just having a session. Then you can have a weekly, or you could put a 3-day if you want. You can put a monthly profile, etc. So this one is pretty much set at X amount of time per profile. Then the fixed range, this is the one that's going to give you the most flexibility. This is the one that I use the most, where basically you're going to hinge it from point A to point B, and then it's going to generate a profile from, either this specific range you select, or the way I like to use it the most is just from point A all the way to the end of the chart, and it just keeps extending as the charts continue to print new candles. And finally, the session profile, which is going to be, it just generates a new profile at the starting of each trading day. This is going to obviously vary based on what markets you're going to be trading. If you're talking about crypto, then you're going to get a profile that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern every day and it runs 24 hours. In Forex, it's a profile 24 hours and it's going to start at 5 p.m. Eastern every day. If you're in futures, that's where it gets a little bit more specific, which is my main market I trade, because I do like to split it. There is actually 2 intraday sessions in futures. Some people only like to trade what we call regular trading hours, which is the stock market hours from 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern. But there's also what's called the Globex, or extended trading hours, which goes from 6 p.m. Eastern to 9:30 a.m. the next day, and that covers the Asian and the European sessions. And so I'll show you later how I split those, and I have a video coming out for the specific settings that I use for that. Okay, so that's the summary. So let's just go and show you how you apply all of these types of profiles here on TradingView. So visible range, if we go to indicators, technicals, profiles. Oh, and one thing to note, in order to get access to this problem profile tools, you do need to have a paid plan on TradingView. You need at least the basic pro plan in order to get access to this. I think in general, I don't really actually know of a platform completely free that you have access to volume profile. Usually, you're going to have some kind of paid monthly plan or membership in order to have access to these tools. But definitely TradingView is probably the most economical, as well as Sierra Chart, I think, will be the most economical choices. But TradingView is obviously a lot easier to use than Sierra Chart and is the most popular. So we go to indicators, we go to visible range, and over here, if you go to the settings, this go to number of rows. This one, you can use either one, especially in futures. If I use ticks per row, then I like to use just one tick per row, and that's going to give me the most precise profile, because the lower the ticks, the more precise this is. Like if you see, if I go and I put 10 ticks, you can see it looks very chunky. But if I go down to 1 tick, it's going to look a lot more precise. Now, as far as volume, this I use on all my profiles, no matter what type of volume profile I'm using. I always choose volume total. And we're specifically talking about volume-based volume profiles, because you could do a volume profile using, for example, Delta. I have a whole video on my YouTube channel recently on that you can look up. This, we're just going to measure the total traded volume at each price level. So I always put volume total, volume area, value area volume, always I have it at 68%. I believe the default is usually 70, but I like to use 68 because that's more precise. This is taken off of a bell curve distribution where you have the mean and then one standard deviation to each side, which would be 34.1, I think it is, or 0.2. So as you can see, if you add this up, then that's closer to 68 than to 70. So that's why I like to use 68 just to be more exact. But in general, if you want a number here that's applicable to any market, you can just select number of rows here on TradingView and just put row size, just put 1,000. And you can see it almost looks exactly the same as if you just choose one tick. And if you go into like crypto markets, for example, and you have ticks per row on a very low volume, it's probably going to give you an error. So the safest bet here on TradingView, just use number of rows and just put a high number like 1,000. The higher, the more smooth it is. Like you can see, if I put here 200 rows, is going to look a little bit chunkier. If I put 100, it's going to look even chunkier. So I like to put 1,000 because I like to see the edges of my nodes and I want them to be as precise as possible, and also to identify all my points of control. And again, you can go to my volume profile videos for more detail on all the components, or check out my trading courses for a lot more in-depth guides and strategies too. But this is the base settings that I use on all my volume profiles here on TradingView. Number of rows, 1,000. Volume, I use total. And the value area, I use 68. And then as far as the colors under style, this is going to vary based on what you use, but I like to just have a gray color on here. So visible range, as you can see, as I move the chart, this profile is going to be dynamically adjusting to whatever I'm showing on the screen. So like in this case, if we have more volumes down here, now you can see it gets a lot thicker at this bottom part. It's a lot thinner on these areas where there's more lack of build volumes at each price level. Remember, volume profile measures buying and selling activity on a horizontal price scale. So the further out this is, that means the more volumes are accumulated at this price levels. Okay, so that's your visible range. With visible range, I normally don't even, one thing I like to do, right click, visual order, and I put send to back. That way it doesn't cover my candles. And so with visible range, I don't really care about highlighting my value area or point of control. You can do all that here on your settings. You know, you can mark your value areas and point of control, which obviously these are going to be shifting as well as you move your chart and all the traded volume varies, etc. One thing a lot of people always say is, okay, how does decentralized markets like crypto and Forex work with volume profile? Because you don't have a good measurement of volume. Well, there's different ways. There's a way that TradingView here measures that, and you can read about it. If you go here to technicals under the volume profiles, you can see there's a question mark right here. If you just click on that question mark, it's going to take you to a page and it's going to explain to you how all this is calculated, because TradingView does not have tick data, but there's a way they measure this based just on candle movement, and it is very precise, so it does work in all markets, and I use it on everything. Okay, so that was visible range. Now, let's move on to the periodic volume profile. So as you can see from this chart, each one of these vertical lines right here, maybe let me make them a little more visible. I just go to events. It's the session breaks. I'm going to make this a little darker right there so it's easier to see. So each one of these vertical lines is set at 6 p.m. Eastern, which is the time when futures market opens every day. So if we go to indicators, technicals, profiles, and I go here, there's actually two profiles you can use for this kind of measurement. There's the periodic volume profile, and there's a new one they call auto anchored, which is actually pretty nice, and it's very related to this one. I'll explain both of them, but basically the periodic, if I click on it, is going to come on my charts, and I can either double click it or I can go here to the gear icon to go to settings. But as you can see, this periodic profile, if I go to inputs, it's set to 1 week. So basically here on my chart, what I'm showing is a weekly volume profile. We start off on Monday, it ends up on Friday afternoon. We start off on the next, it starts on Sunday night and ends up on Friday afternoon. Then again, Sunday night ends up on Friday afternoon, etc. Depending what market you use, this is going to change. If I go, for example, in Forex, and I put Euro US dollar, here we have our periodic volume profile for the week. And in this case, you know that this is a 24-hour, 5-day-a-week market. So here we are, 5 p.m. on Sunday Eastern in the U.S. time, all the way to 5 p.m. on Friday of that week, and then we start a new one. If we want to make a different period, then we just go here and we have the drop down. Let's say we want a daily. Then you can see we have a daily profile, which in the case of Forex and crypto is going to be pretty much exactly the same as a session profile, because in these markets, a session consists of 24 hours in a day. If you go to futures or stocks, then you might want to specifically choose market hours for that. Okay, and then here volume, the same. We select total. I select total. I like to use a 68%. Number of rows, and I like to put 1,000 just to make it as precise as possible. Eventually, I mean, this is going to get to a point where after a certain number is not really even going to change a lot. So you don't have to go crazy on this, and you can play around with whatever you want. But basically, this is the periodic volume profile. As you can see, I set it at the monthly. So then if I zoom back, you can see now we have this big volume profile that is covering from May 1st all the way to the present. And this profile, you can put it on the right side of the chart if you want as well, but I like to have it on the left. You can change the percentage width just to make it more longer or less long if you want, depending how much screen space is taken. You can take off the value area, high, low, point of control if you want, etc. Okay, so that is a periodic profile. Now, the next type that is very related to that is called the auto-anchored volume profile. I'm going to click on it. It's on the chart now. And you can see I just have this tiny little thing right on the edge here. So let's go to settings. The auto-anchored is basically the same thing as periodic, but instead of showing you all the profiles from the past, it's only going to have the current profile right here on the front of the chart. So if we go to inputs and I select anchor period, let's select week. Then number of rows, let's put 1,000 again. Volume, total, value area 68. And we click OK. You can see, well, right now we only have this little profile because the new trading week has already started here on Sunday night in the US. So far, this is the only weekly profile that we have. If I go and change this to a monthly, and let me go to style, I'm going to take off the histogram. The histogram is this like background that you see here, which you can change to any color and opacity, but I like to have that off. So if I zoom out, and obviously, I mean, the colors right now are different. You can just go to settings. You can mark off your value areas. You can change your colors, etc. But basically, you can see right here, I have my value area outside of value. And we have our profile from May 1st all the way to the present. But if I zoom out, let's say if I go into a 4-hour chart and I zoom out, you can see that I'm not showing any other monthly profile. So if I chose periodic, I would have a monthly here, 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 all the way back. But if you just choose auto-anchored, you're only going to have one that is currently taking place. And then as soon as we go into June 1st, this is going to move here and we're going to start a new one from June 1st. So this is a pretty nice one if you just care about looking at the current periodic profile. Okay, so let's take that off. Let's go back to ES, to our little drawing here. And now we're going to talk about fixed range volume profile. The fixed range profile is the one that I like the most, because for me is the most flexible, because I just put it from point A to point B that I am interested in. So let's say, for example, that I want to analyze this consolidation that the ES has been in since the beginning of April, then there's two options that you can have here. One, you can go to indicators, technical profiles, and there's one called fixed range volume profile. With this one, you just then click, let go, and now you have your profile come up. If we go into settings, let's go down on here. I'm gonna make this darker, the value area, and this as well, just so we can see the contrast better. And then under inputs, let's put number of rows 1000. All these settings, if you want to keep it a certain way, you can just tinker with all the settings and then go and put save as, and you can just save it as a template. Like for me, I have it saved as my fixed range volume profile, so I have these settings by default. So let's put 1000 rows, volume total, value area 68. Okay, and then right click, visual order, send to back, and there we have it. Okay, so this is a fixed range, and I put it from here and it goes all the way to the end. And as the chart continues progressing, this is just going to keep extending. Let's say that I wanted a profile from this big swing low that we have here. Then I just have to go here, click, I go to the period, and I just pull it back to that low. And now I have a fixed range of here. And the profile is not going to move. It's just going to keep moving with this. Okay? You can double click it, and you see this this option that says extend right. If you disable this, then this profile is just going to stay to wherever you set your second point. So like if I set it here, you can see that now the profile is going from here to here. But if I go and I put extend right, okay, now it's going to go all the way to the present right over here. Okay, now why don't I like to use this indicator? Well, because I'm on the SP 500 market right here. But let's say I'm going to go and switch to crypto, and I go to Bitcoin. And I zoom out, and you can see now I get the same profile here, but, you know, it's not really from the bottom here. You can see it's anchored at this point because it's at a specific date and time. Any market you change to is going to be at that same place, time and date. So I don't really care about that, because for me, each market is unique and I want to analyze them in different ways. So for Bitcoin, I'll probably bring it to this swing low right here. So that's why I don't like this profile, because it's just going to stay in the same spot for any market that I'm analyzing. So let's erase it and show you the better version, which is using the volume profile drawing tool. And you know, Sierra Chart and other platforms also has this. So if I zoom out, you just go over here to the left side under tools, bring down the menu, and you go to this option right here where it says fixed range volume profile. So if I click that, I get the tool active, and I just click from here and drag it all the way, release. And now you can see I have my fixed range volume profile with the default settings that I use. Let's just switch it to 1000 per row right there. Style, let's say I want to look at the value area lines and point of control. Click OK, and this is extending all the way to the right and right there. And then we need to send it to the back, visual order, send to back, so it doesn't cover our chart. And there you have it. So there's a fixed range volume profile. And then let's say now I want to switch over to Forex. I go to GBP USD, and let's say I want a profile from this swing low all the way to the end. Then same thing, I go to my tool, fixed range, click it right at the bottom, drag it, and now I have this specific profile for this chart, because as you know, each market is different and I want to analyze specific price rotations, and this is all covered in my trading courses, strategies, etc. But that's why I like this drawing tool, because each market that I go to, this is only going to stay as a drawing unique to this chart, and it's not going to just show up on any market that I click on. Okay, so let's click this, delete, and now that leaves us with our final type of profile, which is going to be the session. So for this, I'm going to mark off my session lines again. Let's go into a lower time frame. Let's go into a 15-minute chart, and let's start off in a Forex market. So this is a Euro US dollar 15-minute chart, and again, each one of these vertical lines is one new trading day that's starting. So let's go to indicators, technicals, profiles, and if I click, there's two versions. The session profile HD is sort of a dynamic profile where the size of the rows, meaning how precise the profiles and the high volume nodes are, is going to be determined by how zoomed in or out you are on the chart, etc. TradingView does it for you. I don't really like that one. I prefer to have control over the row size myself. So I just click on the regular profile, and as you can see, let's go visual order, send to back. This looks pretty dark, so let me actually go to style and make this a little bit less dark. But right there you have your session volume profile, and actually let me double click it, go to inputs, see under inputs it was set at custom, and that's why it's not matching the profile to the start of the trading day. In this case, what you want to do, I only use custom, as I'm going to show you later, and I'm going to show you in detail in a video. I use custom when I want to split my futures session in two. But for any other market like Forex or crypto, just select all. And now you can see, select all, volume total, value area 68, number of rows 1000. Right there. Click OK. And now you can see now your profiles are matching the start of the trading day. So in this case, 5 p.m. Eastern is when each Forex day starts. And you can see you have a new profile set for each day. You can highlight, like I have here, value area lines, point of control. Here's your value area in darker, the 68% of volume, and then the rest is outside, etc. Okay? If I go into a crypto market, let's say go into Ethereum, same thing here. In this case, each trading day is starting off at 8 p.m. Eastern time, right there, 24-hour market. And each 24 hours, you're going to get a new profile specific for that session or day. Okay? And that's pretty much the session profile. Again, you have two options. You could use the HD, but I prefer the control of the regular one so I can set my own row size. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I have a whole video coming up on this, but in futures, if you just leave this set by default at sessions all, what you're going to get is a profile that goes from 23 hours a day, basically, from 6 p.m. Eastern time all the way to 5 p.m. Eastern time when futures markets settle for the day, and then we open at 6 p.m. Eastern for the next day, etc. That is under all sessions. If you want to split this, there is a option. If you put market only, then that is, where is this? There. Okay, so on futures, the only option, even if you put market only or all, is going to be the same thing. You get a 23-hour session. So in that case, if you want to split it, you're going to have to do the process. I'm not going to go over it here because it's kind of involved. But basically, you're going to have to generate 2 session profiles. And under custom, you're going to set your own parameters for the times of each profile here. So let's say if you want to only trade regular market hours, then you just go 9:30 to 4 p.m. Okay. And see right there, now you get a profile that's going from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is basically regular market hours. And if you go, let's say if I go into a stock, like here you can see, if I put Tesla, for example, you get a profile that's pretty much covering just the regular market hours from 9:30 a.m. Eastern all the way to 4 when the market closes. But even if you're in stocks as well, let's see, if we go here and we put all, it'll be the same thing. If you put all or market only, is going to cover pretty much just the regular stock market trading hours as well under the session profile. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the video. I just wanted to give you an introduction into the main 4 types of volume profile that we have available and the uses that you have for them. I go into greater detail in all my other volume profile videos here in the channel, so you can make sure to check those out as well. And for more in-detail strategies as far as how I use this all in my regular trading strategies, you can always check out my trading courses as well. Okay, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.